What's going on, everybody? So today we're doing some jobs on the E34 that has been needed to be done for quite a long time. As I mentioned last season, I was going to do softer springs. So like I said, I got the springs 7K and 9K, which are considerably softer than the 16, 18 that this car is currently running. I am sick of, driving this thing fast, as it's a fast car now, and just absolutely destroying my back on, doing highway pulls and stuff. It's just ridiculous. So I'm going to these. I got these for free from an E34 homie, so shout out to him. Otherwise, I'd probably go a little bit stiffer, and I know Dakota mentioned to me I should probably go stiffer. It might be a little too soft, but this car isn't really aggressively fitted or anything like that, so I shouldn't have issues. So I'm just going to work with what I got. Should be better. And then aside from that, and I'm kind of even embarrassed to show you guys this. This car needs brakes, really bad. So you can see this rotor, I mean, they're rusty and stuff, but this pad fell apart. There's actually no brake pad left. The fronts aren't bad. I think I did a pad slap on these 2 years ago now when I did the coilovers. So the fronts aren't horrible. The pads have life, but the rotors are really warped from brake boosting. And what better way for a FedEx employee to start off his Saturday than delivering 500 pounds of brake parts, because I also ordered brakes for the E30. So I got rotors for both the cars, pads for both the cars. Buddy was having a bad morning, I'm sure. I feel bad for him. But so Rock Auto is usually my go-to for brake parts, just because you can get the cheapest stuff there. So for the example, for the E30, I bought the cheapest of the cheap brake stuff. So I paid $10 for all of my brake pads and stuff. It's crazy. But this car, I want it to be a little bit better braking wise. So this car does have the 540 brake upgrade. If you guys weren't familiar, it's got 540 brakes all around. So one thing that's not nice about E34s as opposed to other chassis is to get to the rear shock towers, the top, you got to pull out your rear deck, which means you got to pull out your rear seat because you can't get the deck out with the rear bench in place. So you can see right there, there's our top hats. So I got to undo these, both sides, and then that's all you got to do there. And then you just got the one bolt at the bottom, and then the shock will come right out. So doing this is easy enough. So 14 millimeter, you want to crack this little silver nut there, pull that right out, and then you have access to the top hat. So just set this aside and drop it. 17 mil. Yeah, as I suspected, there's next to no preload on the shock. I wouldn't have done this so stupidly if I wasn't sure, but I'm nearly positive. I've had a few coilovers in my time. So, just slide that off, slide the new one on, and then just repeat the process. And now we repeat on the other side. All done. We got both the rear shocks back in with the new springs. So now we're gonna do the rear brakes really quick. We're gonna get these old decrepit rotors off and get the new stuff on there. My carrier actually doesn't fit around them. Right here is too skinny. And I'm looking at the brakes I just took off. You can see non-vented how much skinnier it is versus these vented ones. I don't know, my guess is that these are, the rear brakes on this car are still stock 525 and you just did a 540 front upgrade, which I guess makes sense. The fronts do more anyway. So, that sucks. So I can't go any further with the rear. We have to leave it. So up front, unlike the rear, we do have to take off the calipers and the rotors first. Maybe you don't have to, but it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to pull off the caliper, the rotor, and then I'll show you guys where we got to go.
Now
what I'm going to try to do in an attempt to make things easier for myself. So I got the brakes off, and I need a new rotor set screw. I just fought with this for a good 30 minutes because it's stripped. So I pulled off the top hat bolts, and I tried to kick it down, but because of the sway bar, it only goes down a certain amount. I learned this the hard way when I first did suspension on my E46 years ago. I was like, why can't I get the new shock in? Because with the sway bar, it won't let this side go down. So I'm going to go the other side, do everything I just did really quick, and then I'm going to take out those top hats and lower both the fronts and see how low I can get it. And then we might not have to undo these because we're able to get it low enough to where I can just tilt it out and pull off the spring. That's what I'm hoping for. What I suspected was correct, and I can actually just do this. So I don't have to unbolt anything, which is really nice. So I just spent upwards of an hour trying to de-seize these preload locking collars. I know in the back I said these didn't have to be changed because there's not a lot of preload, but I was looking at my new springs. You could see 62-150. These are a 62-180. So these are a little bit longer, which shouldn't mess anything up, but I had to lower the preload because since it's going to be a longer spring to get the top hat back on, I'm obviously not going to be able to compress a coilover spring. I don't even have a coilover thing. So I'm just going to thread this down to obviously give myself the clearance there. So in the future for this car, meaning probably like I should do it really soon, I'm going to do brake lines because it has the original lines. I don't know about original, but they are old. They look like they're cracking. That is just not what you want to be stopping 500 horsepower. So those are going to go. And then while I do that, since this will be disconnected, I'm going to pull out the calipers and I'll paint them. The other side, the passenger side, I replaced the caliper ones because it was sticky. So that's new, and that rusted even worse because I never coated it like an idiot. But otherwise, yeah. So the calipers and the lines I'll do in the future. But aside from that, we got the rotor and the pads done. All right, so the proper order with the proper rotors came in. So here they are, non-vented. So as you can see here, after I drop it, the carrier fits around the rotor. That's what you want to see. So now I can finally finish up the rear brake job and get the wheels back on and lower this thing. We could test out this new suspension. I'm super stoked. I'm going to go take these out, brake clean them, and then spray paint them really quick. I like to spray paint the hub so it doesn't rust because that looks really bogus on these. So I'm going to go do that. Look how bad this rotor was, or this pad. Dude. No pad left, man. That's why this car is making a goofy sound from this side. And just like that, this side's all done. And now on to the other side. E34 is lowered on the ground and she's ready for the first drive. It has immediately noticed that these softer springs dropped it down, I'd say a good half an inch, if not more. I mean, we're tucking in the rear. The front is like aggressively fitted. So right off the bat, the brakes last night and today are still making a weird like noise. Like I told you I sprayed them and I thought it was like the paint. I don't think it's that. I don't know what it is. My e-brake doesn't work anymore. I don't know if it did. I can't remember like the last time it worked, but it's only coming from the rears, I think. Maybe I just gotta drive them, wear them out a little bit. I don't know. Nothing visually looks wrong, so it's hard to say what it actually is. So I'm going to drive the roads that I usually take, and I know exactly which bumps I'm looking for. I remember exactly where they're at. So right off the bat, that didn't feel bad at all. Like, that feels good. Like, that feels good. But the big bumps are the ones right over where I go, when I always rip it. I mentioned it in countless videos. Every time I hit those bumps, I'm like, oh my god. So I'm going to hit those, and that'll be the true test. And then we'll just kind of, go for a little spin, you know, beat it up, see how she feels. It's on E35 again, so I'm excited about that. I got a little bit of old 93 to get through, get out of the tank, so I'm at like 21 pounds right now. All right, here's the first series of bumps. I'm probably gonna hit my front lip. Let's see. Oh, dude. All right, that felt good. Let's keep it going. I have to say, these spring rates are intriguing. It's like the car has suspension again. It's literally that. Like, here we go, another big one. Nice. Nice. Man. Dude, this feels, it's like a whole new car. I'm so excited. I wish I like, the car was up in the air for like 2 weeks, so it's not like a direct, like I drove it yesterday comparison. But I mean, I drove the car for 2 years. I kind of know what it was like. I'll really know the difference when I'm going, you know, the speed limit on the highway. But as of right now, those series of bumps, that stretch, those would usually jar me. I mean, I can literally, maybe I'll try to find a clip from an old video and put it in. You can literally see me like bounce off my seat. The car actually has suspension again. Like, it actually travels. It doesn't feel like, it's still stiff, but not even remotely close. Like, it's the right type of stiff, like, that you want. Like, you want coilovers that still give you suspension, but, you know, stiffen things up. Oh, I just hit my lip bad. That 540 is just in my head, and I'm listening and I'm hearing like the ever so slight noise of from the transmission, and I'm scared. Like, I don't think I'm gonna drive this car again until I change the fluid. Like, I didn't even think about it until I got under doing the brakes. I was like, oh, I've never done the trans fluid on this thing. ZFs are now impossible to find, so I don't wanna risk it, and I don't wanna spend the money on a ZF blowing it up due to negligence, because it already, you know, 500 horsepower, it already doesn't live, you know, the best life. I beat on it, you know, so. All right, big bump. Oh my God. It's literally completely changed. Like, literally, I would used to see big bumps, you'd hit them and it would be like jarring. It would kill my back. Like, it was, I'm not old, man, but it was starting to make me feel old. It was like a nuisance. I don't even feel little bumps in the road anymore. I should have done this so much sooner. Oh my goodness. You know, like 17, 18 on, you know, when you're aggressively low and you're driving it, you know, 50 miles an hour tops. You know, I dailied it, but I want to say when you're not dailing it, it's whatever, it's fine. But when you start to drive a car that has power and you're going fast and you're driving fast, and you need softer stuff, man. Let's give it a little braking test. There's no one behind me, obviously, check that. Well, let's just see what happens if ooh, this thing stops good, man. Wow. I don't know if that was even like, if you were even able to tell anything on the camera, but I actually heard my tires sound like they screeched. All right, we made it back, and you guys would be happy to know that the noise actually went away. So I rolled the brakes a little bit. Well, they look a little hot, but yeah, I don't know. I just held them and kind of accelerated and just kind of wore them through, and the noise went away. So I'm excited. I figured it was just like a matter of clearances or whatever, wearing down whatever material needed to be worn down. But I'm super excited. The car drives fantastic. I would call that spring job a 10 out of 10. Should have done it sooner. It's a whole different car. Once I raise it back up and it's functional again, not to say it doesn't look functional, but it's just a little too low for how I liked it. It's really not, but if I got a different front bumper, I would keep it this way. So who knows? Maybe I probably won't mess with it yet, but because I am putting the stock bumper back on, so I will have a lot more clearance up front. I do actually like this ride height, kind of. The front can come up maybe a tad just to kind of even out with the rear, but the car drives like a car again. It has suspension again. I love it. I wish I'd done it sooner. And I think that concludes our video here. Thank you guys for watching. Next time we see this thing, it will probably be getting all the new turbo setup stuff on there. I don't know what else I'll be doing to this car besides that for a video. So yeah, I'm gonna get all that on there. I'm super excited to show you that fab process, and then we'll obviously take it to the dyno, and then we'll take it for some rips. We're shooting for I'd like to see 500 to 550 on the dyno that we go on. So that's a Mustang, so that would be like probably like 600 crank, which I think the old M50's got it in her. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I will see you guys in the next video.